we can do it. I got a little bit of bicep, but I have a lot of insulation. I've always been like really insecure about my arms, even though they're strong, but they're just big. I don't have like feminine, like cute twiggy arms, and I kind of low key wish I did. But right, like I would want to be strong, so I don't know. Like Angela Bassett arms, her arms are thin, but they are just toned immaculately. And I'm pretty sure that she's just already got some great wiring and then also makes the efforts of working out. Whereas I'm pretty sure if, that no insane amount of like bicep curls would ever have me to Angela Bassett arms. But we're going to try to do something as time goes on. Anyway, howdy from Las Vegas. Hope you're well. It's sunny. Like I said, a little bit more chilly. I don't know why I always tell you guys about the weather, like total old person move. Anyway, but no shade. If you like the weather or your team, silver, that's cool. My parents are like watching the Weather Channel last I checked and things like that, so that's okay. Anyway, so today I was going to talk to you about me renouncing my ways as a mean girl and, kind of what led me up to that. Mean girl. It's a term that's like, it's kind of thrown around, I guess, more than, since the movie, like, they had a movie that came out about, that was called Mean Girls, right? And then it was almost kind of like trendy, like celebrated. But then again, maybe Mean Girls were always celebrated. So in my mind, at least growing up, again, just from my perspective, mean girls tend to be status quo attractive, and right, like, popular. And so, like, the whole thing is, like, the more mean you are, the more people are like, oh my god, you're so great. Please be mean to me, and this kind of stuff. And before I had an entertainment outlet as a fantasy dom, which if you know my other channel, you're a little familiar with. So right, my point is, until I found an outlet, I was just kind of living the mean girl life. Now, disclaimer, may not be your brand of mean girl, and that's another thing that I want to point out is, like, it's crazy how we accept mean girl behavior from people that, we feel meet this subconscious standard in our mind, like, oh, if you're thin and pretty and rich and I guess whatever else, or you're dating so and so or whatever, it's okay for these type, or maybe just like they're hitting all the marks in life, that would be ideal. They're attractive, they have a good job, or they have money, whatever, and then that makes it okay for somebody like that. In other words, possibly doing better than us, or that's what we equate as respect. Those are the people we are cool with. Well, maybe you're not cool with anybody being mean to you, but I'm saying as far as that whole mean girl complex, that's usually based on somebody meeting the visual or whatever respect criteria. And it's crazy how people that we respect or are intimidated by, if they're mean to certain people, if you're mean to them, they're like feeling so flattered that you even paid attention to them. And anyway, so right, I at one point was like, I started out like very insecure, and then, I don't know, I don't think I was a late bloomer, but it definitely took me a while to kind of sort out, what was where and whatever. And when I was stationed in the South, I had a lot of people in my face. Again, I'm not saying I'm your cup of tea. I'm not saying, oh, everybody wants a piece of this. I'm not saying I'm, the baddest mean girl that ever lived. I'm talking about where I got my little edge, if you will. So, right, when I was stationed in the South, that was the first time that people were like really going hard in my face and just like, right, as if this head could get any bigger, but it was like, psh, 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 psh. And I was living crazy. Like I was effing up. I was being reckless. I was like not even like a, but because people celebrated me in this way, just acting like you were what, special, I guess. You know, there were so many people celebrating me without me actually having to do anything, that it got really easy to be, you know, really like kind of conceited for no reason, if you will. And I started learning, you know, how to be mean. And now, I'm not saying I was never mean to anybody up until this awakening. I'm saying that that is like kind of the gateway to where that became part of my persona, having, you know, constantly having snarky, you know, mean comments. Not necessarily gossiping, because I, even back then, I didn't really care about bashing girls. But they, you know, eventually, like, you know, cattiness and that kind of stuff would sink in for some of them. And then, you know, if they were talking trash or acting nasty towards me, then, I mean, a lot of times I didn't care. But I'm just trying to think of reasons that I would ever bash a girl. But right, I didn't really have an interest in bashing girls, because again, like, there were, for me at least, there were that many guys in my face. Now, granted, like, again, this is like 15 years ago, pre-smartphone, like all the things, you know, that people are doing now. The new generation is sprouting up. They're of age. So again, I'm not trying to act like I'm the baddest woman you've ever seen. I'm saying at the time and where we were and the way everything was adding up, I was at least one girl that got plenty of attention. And, you know, I didn't have to worry about getting off the base. You know, at the time we were restricted because I was in school and stuff like that. So it was easy, I guess I'm trying to say. At the time, it was easy for me to be mean to people, you know, and I don't know if there was a process of like feeling like, oh, well, only people who are justified, but pretty much like if you were acting too familiar with me, which you could have just been trying to be friendly, or, you know, if guys that I knew I wasn't interested in were trying to be like friendly and stuff, I would definitely be like, you know, bleh. I didn't care about being nice, and I would talk to people as though I already knew what they must be trying to get from me, or how dare they want my time, or how dare they want my conversation, you know, wasting my time, you know, this kind of stuff. It was, you know, again, not saying it was right. I'm saying what I did. So, you know, it was easy and fun to be, at the time, for some reason, it was fun to be mean. It was, you know, people were, the guys were pretty much who I was spending the most time with. And the only girls who could stand me were people who, again, like these girls, celebrated my popularity. So, anyway, as the years went on, right, like I got out of the military, went on, and you know, I had taken on a few traumas and hits since then. It's not like I didn't occasionally pay for being a mean girl, but among other things, as we talked about. But I carried on this mindset of like, who are you? Why do I need to entertain whatever you're talking about? When I went to tech school for automotive technology, business minor, and paint and body certification, which is at a separate school. Not that I'm bragging. It's so long ago. If I got back into cars now, I would have to probably go back to school and like get everything updated. But anyway, I won't lie. Sometimes I can't wait until it's the days like Matrix, or at least like it trickles down to the working class that we can get chips and just like, I know that's lazy, but sometimes I wish it could be like Matrix and you could just install the ability to do, you know, whatever it is you need to do, kind of like more accessible software. Because if you think about it, you know, just because you have that information, I mean, we pretty much have that on, you know, YouTube and Google and all that stuff. Like our internet pretty much works like that. I'm taking it a step lazier and saying, can't you just put it in my brain? You know, why do I have to like reach and type and look? You know, but right, you know, to the point where it's like becomes inherent information. I won't lie, like I know that that's lazy, but and there's so, you know, I know like all the people who work so hard on their craft and that's so like whatever. Right, okay, whatever. But that would be so exciting because there's like so much I wish I already knew how to do, you know? Anyway, so right, I moved on, right, I was going through the tech schools, and back then, you know, there was only like maybe a little handful of females going. On top of that, you being like a feminine kind of vibe or lane. You know, for me, I was like a feminine mechanic. Like I still liked wearing tight ass sticky pants, and you know, they gave us like these button up uniforms so you could get used to like the feel working in the shop, and I had mine tailored like to be like cute and stuff. Like be cute for who? But I will attest that I was a total C word, B word when I went to tech school. I mean, I was like ruthless and I didn't care. I didn't care about hurting your feelings. And a couple of guys tried me like to insult me. One guy, oh my God, we were in class and this guy was like, I was the only girl in the class, and he was mad that I got like a point higher than him on an exam. And he yells out to the class, it's all guys except for like me and like two other girls, and they're like, you know, just kind of, they're like 17, just became 18, you know, they're just like picking and I'm not knocking their journey. I'm saying like I came in, I'm like post-military, I already went to school, I already did like a little bit of stuff. So anyway, so he yells out to the class, what man is going to want a woman who works on cars? Like, how are you going to cook dinner after you work on cars? I wouldn't want my wife to make dinner with those dirty hands. And I'm like, wow. I said, well, you know, it's called washing your hands. And if you're willing to, if you don't trust your clean hands to handle your, after you work on cars, I don't see what the big deal is to trust a female to be able to really, you know, it's amazing what they're doing with Gojo technology these days. I mean, really, you'd be surprised. And then they have these like rubber things that, I don't know, maybe he didn't know what, like maybe he wasn't familiar with condoms, so just like the rubber to use like the same way they have latex gloves, maybe he never bought a condom or anything, so he don't, you know, his experience with latex is like minimal. I don't know, but the point is he was trying to come at me, and he was like an aggressive guy, and you know, so like they would try me in these little ways every now and then. If I pissed a guy off, you know, of course they had to go right to the well, you're fat, you're so conceited, blah blah blah. And right, like I was like ruthless. I didn't care if you even asked me what time it was. I would just like jab, just however I could, constantly, like always. You always got a jab, and you know, to me that was how I felt like, you know, it's male dominated environments or dog eat dog world. I'm gonna take their throat out before they get to me, you know, right? But it, you know, in hindsight, like it probably wasn't necessary. Like, yeah, there were a couple guys who tried me with dumb stuff, but you know, either saying this kind of crazy thing, but it definitely wasn't necessary to go as hard as I went. I mean, I remember I was in line because I was on financial aid, and I was in line too because they had like a line and like a booth or whatever for you to update your financial aid if you needed to. Sorry. So I was in line, and this guy was walking by the line, and he was like, oh, you got to go to the booth, or, you know, like just something random like that. And I like ripped his head off. I said, thanks a lot. What do you think? You're better than me? You think you're better than us because we're waiting in line? You know, like, yeah, we're on financial aid. Like, I was so defensive. And he was like, what? And he could have came for me, but he didn't. So props to him for leaving it alone. He was just like, oh, you're tripping. And he just like let it go. And you know, like just little stuff like that. If you approached me, I would like roast you first to see how, like, it was almost like a test. Like if you're too weak for an abrasive, you know, whatever, then you're weak, and I don't want, you know, for me, I was justifying it by saying it was a filter. Only those who can withstand the mean can like get to my circle, you know. And I didn't care, even though I was hella insecure. I right, like for me, being mean was not like weird or anything. I was a proud mean girl, and especially because, you know, if you thought I was slutty or fat or, you know, whatever you thought, that, you know, if I knew I wasn't your type and you were still trying to like, oh sorry, as I say, like they called me slutty and that wasn't true, as my like strap comes off on its own. Anyway, right, like if I knew that you were probably coming for me because like trying to get in my pants or something, because or be the one that slayed me, because right, I was smart enough, thank goodness, not to F any of those guys at my school. Cause right, like by then I definitely wasn't dumb to the game, like slay and throw away, and like these guys all talk like it. And then here's the thing: it's not about me being the baddest bee. It's about the fact that I was a mean girl who they like everybody knew like, oh yeah, she's an icebox. You're not gonna be able to F her. So whether they think I'm attractive or again like personality, if anything, my personality made them be in my face more because everybody wanted to be the one who F the mean girl. Everybody wanted to be and that's what I'm trying to say is like it's not even about me being like the prettiest girl ever. It was about me being a C word and them feeling like I guess they wouldn't see me as such a C word if somebody could defile me, like, oh yeah, you think you're so big and bad, but so and so hit it, like, is again, like that's why you can't tell me that men don't understand the taking of the power when they do a slay and throw away situation. And no, it's not gender exclusive, but I'm just talking about this situation. So anyway, and so I went on proudly to several more environments, being a mean girl and just the meanest girl. And for some people, right, like that is what made them want to be in my life. I mean, of course, like yeah, I had it together as far as having a job. I had my own place. I had 2 cars. Like I was doing my own thing. So right, of course, like meeting all that criteria. But right, and I wasn't. While I may not be the baddest bee you've ever seen on YouTube for sure, for them, I was like some level of attractive that they felt okay with the meanness, and it made it a popularity card. So only the alphas of the environment would deal with me, and maybe it was a courage thing for them. Like again, like I knew that this just made everybody look better because the manager being tough enough to deal with me as his like in the shop as their assistant manager, for example. Only the ones that they respected were dealing with me, and they knew that made them look better because all the other guys. I don't want to get anybody riled up by saying, oh, you were afraid of me. I'm just saying, they were subscribing to the vibe that you like don't talk to me unless you really know what you're talking about. They bought into that, with me projecting that mindset. So, right, to me, it seemed like a good thing. Like, okay, yeah, like apparently being mean, being the C word gets stuff done. I would get it done. People listened to me. People were worried about what I thought all the time. Like, all right, only the only guys that were either like testing their own bravery or like had something to prove, pretty much like they made an effort towards approaching me. Not saying I never got played, but I'm saying for me that system was working. So I didn't imagine that like I was gonna have to pay a karmic debt for getting so much done as a mean girl. I was like, well, right, this is conveniently the right way to live, because look at how I'm so busy and getting things done and whatever. But I definitely wasn't happy. I was drinking like crazy. I was right, like even though I was getting dudes, like I knew none of them wanted a relationship, so it was just still kind of weird and lonely. And not that I was worried about being with someone, but like there's only so many people that you can deal with. It's like not a substantial interaction, and I was having my fun and whatever. Like there were so many good times, but I wasn't happy, and it didn't occur to me that being a C word was contributing to that. Now that was difficult for me because I was like, but look, I feel popular. Guys like me. I'm doing the car stuff. you know, like I'm getting attention, even any kind of hate or shade, even girls being jealous or acting jealous of me is attention. So, why I don't want to give up this mentality, because I don't know what's waiting for me after I renounce the mean girl life. And right, I wasn't right. I guess basically afraid. Um, Plus, and maybe on some level, I knew karma was gonna bite me in the butt, and I didn't know how. So, right, I finally like. Actually, I can't even act like I made this like noble renouncement of mean girl life. It got life beat it out of me. I won't even hold you. Like I ended up, dealing with like getting attacked by different people. Somebody literally tried to kill me that I was dating. I'm not acting like that's an exceptional story. I'm just saying like I ended up in so many bad and negative situations that I hadn't before. And I was just going to have to choose to deal with it, and it did get to the point where I was like, you know what? Please take me out of this world. I'm just a burden. I lost everything. I'm losing my sanity. It was just getting so bad. And I was getting to meet people that I wouldn't, that as I was doing better in life, I was turning the blinders on to having to see people, having to deal with people, having to talk to people. To me, it didn't seem snobby. It just seemed efficient. Like, okay, like like somebody just wandering the street, like some guy, let's say he's a vagrant, and he just walking by. Like if I'm walking on the path, I would think to myself, like, oh my god, like please don't try to talk to me. And if they're, oh hey, how you doing, miss, or whatever, and I just be like, ew, But once I took a massive fall from grace, just living certain places where I was like, I didn't have a job, so I had to like just earn my keep to stay there, like cooking and cleaning and stuff. And I didn't like, my car got repossessed, so I was walking to the store, and right now there's no escape from all the people walking by and stuff like that. If they want to, try to engage with me, it's like right there all the time if I want to get anything done. And I was just like, thankfully it didn't take long for me to, and again, like it's so important for me to convince you that this wasn't like, oh look, a peasant, I see you. Life was getting so real for me that I did feel shitty. Like, damn, here I am. Like, I lost everything. I'm right here next to these people. Like, whatever made me think I was better than anybody. Whatever made me so like, so negative that I'm like hoping somebody doesn't say, hey, how's your day going? Like as they walk by. Like, yeah, even if it is because they're attracted to me or whatever. Like, for me to act like it's just such an inconvenience and like ew. So I flipped the script. Eventually I started going out of my way to say hi to people before they say hi to me. Sharing the Buddhism that I practice with just different people on the street. And it was important for me for it to come from a place that's not like, oh look, I'm being a good person, but like a genuine, hey, how you doing? Like really giving a damn about how the well-being of people. If somebody says hi to you, if you know the limits of how far you're going to let them into your life, then why do I have to feel defensive or inconvenienced or just, it's just negative. So I for me it was definitely a process, because even though like, okay, even though I was finally ready to be like a nice person, that didn't mean people were ready to just accept my kindness or cordial greetings or whatever. I remember I was walking by one day and this girl was having a fight with her man, and at first it just looked like a scuffle, like they were just in front of her apartment. And so I was like a few feet away and I had my headphones on, and so I took one out and I just yelled to her like, hey, are you okay? Because right, I just see a guy and a girl going at it, and me trying to be all like solidarity. I'm like, is right, if this guy's beating her, then we can both take him or whatever. Like, I'm thinking she, making sure she's not in danger. She looked over at me. She's like, she was an addict. I'm just saying that because she came to me later on, and I'll tell you in a second. But she was on, basically, and she was on. She looked like Cruella Deville. Like the part where she was running the truck off the road all crazy. She looked like that. I couldn't see into her face until she looked at me, and she said, "What are you doing, trying to talk to my man? You fat ugly bee, and proceeds to try to whop me one, and like she kind of like gets my earring. And again, like I don't, of course, like I'm in this place where I'm like, kumbaya, like, life is shitty, but I'm gonna keep a good attitude. I'm like just trying to, and of course the one of these people that I'm trying to be friendly and like, look, I see you as a person and respect your value. Are you okay? Whop. Like, that's karma. When I'm finally ready to be a compassionate person, karma was waiting right there, literally, to bop me in. Like, she was trying to get me in the face. And I'm like, wow. Now, I know, like, okay, maybe some of you would have proceeded to fight her. But this woman looked like she was in her, at least her late 30s. Maybe the life had aged her, but my point is she looked older than me by at least 10 years. And I'm not gonna get scarred and scratched and torn up and patchy for some addict having a fight with her man. The guy used the opportunity when she turned the rage on me. He ran away. So you saw my little wing. She ran away, and I'm sorry, he ran away. Like, I realized she was beating him, and he used that opportunity. He left me high and dry, like, right, like he just flew the coop. And she's like, ah! And then proceeds to try to whop me one. I like flinch like this, but she managed to get my earring, and she didn't rip my earlobe or anything, but she like knocked into my earring and my hair. And so I decided to walk away, only because, right, like, I know you can call me a punk or whatever, I don't care. Again, like, this woman did not at that moment feel she had anything to lose. And I personally am just not big on the girl fights. Like, as I mentioned before, like, I've been perfectly willing and have, scrap with dudes. I'm not saying it was necessarily a knuckle knocked down, out in the street, but right, like, I've gotten physical with dudes. And I don't know, I don't like the idea of fighting females, me personally. I know that maybe that's weird, but my reaction wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm about to fight this girl. Because, right, like, have her rip my hair out and scratch my face up for what? Like, to prove what to who? Well, yeah, we, like, even if I beat her and knock her out, it's not worth risking her trying to pull hair. And, girls, right, like, girls fight like girls. They're going to try to make you ugly. Like, so that even if they lose, well, at least I made you ugly, B. Like, I'm not... You can say whatever you want. I'm not big on fighting women, because right, like, in your nails, like, all that, like, no. I mean, again, like, if you're somebody that's quick to fight, maybe we should be friends, because, like, handle my light work. But you can say what you want about that. To me, it's just not worth it. No woman has ever made me so mad, and I'm not looking for her to, but no woman ever made me so mad that I felt it was worth risking uglying myself. Well, like, again, not saying I'm pretty to you, but what I value about me physically, I'm not going to put on the table so that I can fight you when I don't even know you. And this whole situation is like just two crackheads fighting. Like, oh, I'm not gonna get beat up, or, well, right, like even if I win the fight, I'm not gonna even get scrapped up for a middle-aged crackhead. Like, that's just my thinking. So anyway, my point is that, right, it's karma didn't, like, write off. That's why I said good deeds create good karma, and bad deeds create negative karma. They don't cancel each other out. Me suddenly becoming a more compassionate person didn't cancel out all the times that maybe somebody would just wanting to ask me for help, or what time it was, and I was like, ew. It doesn't cancel them out. So here this girl was, I'm just trying to make sure she's okay, and karma was like, bop, gotcha, bitch. It was there waiting. So anyway, we're hitting the 30-minute mark. I'm committed to talking less. But so I guess like in summation, renouncing being a mean girl hasn't, at least for me, it hasn't necessarily been well received. It doesn't mean I canceled any of the negative karma that I did in the name of Mean Girl Nation. But I guess in my mind, you have to start somewhere. And even if I was kind of sliding back down the mountain on a ski, like having fun and stuff, and then I realized, oh, I got to go back up the mountain. You got to stop and turn around, go back up. At some point, you have to decide, life is from this moment on, as President Ikeda of SGI says. Not a plug. I'm just quoting where I got it from. And so it has been an uphill battle, and then there are people who only knew me as a C word, so that's kind of their reaction if they see me again. It's an uphill battle, but that I'm definitely closer to like being myself, like knowing who I am and being okay with that. And it's a work, like life is supposed to be a work in progress. Well, I guess it's supposed to be whatever you want it to be, but for me, life is a work in progress, and I'm just happy that I was able to wake up and change at all, because for me, that's what sat better with me. I decided I didn't want to be someone who saw homeless people or just anybody on the street, and just because they're like walking near me, I'm like you're in my orbit. I didn't want to be that girl anymore. And even though it took suffering for me to say, hey, maybe this isn't good anymore, or maybe it never was, even though for me it definitely took a few bricks from the wall of life to hit me in the head, again, you got to stop somewhere. And don't worry about starving on your journey uphill, because there's so much humble pie along the road, along the way. So let me know your thoughts. Are you a proud mean girl? Did you used to be a mean girl? Or did you ever forgive a mean girl? Or did this, do you hate mean girls? Or, what's your thoughts on that? I hope you're having a great day. I think it's Tuesday today, right? So do great things this week. Please be safe. Nam yo harenge kyo.